ribs taste as good as they looked? Yeah, they were good. I'd be curious if I owned a restaurant like that during this season. I would have a tally on the wall because it looked like they served them with both sour cream and applesauce, and that you had to tally which one you liked better on the way out to see. I'm surprised Ziggy doesn't do that, but they looked good in the picture. What? Maybe next year I'll call them up and be like, this is what you should do at your Houston, New York deli. But should we take a quick poll? Are we sour cream or applesauce people? Raise your hand if you're a sour cream person. Both? At the same time?
Yes.
It's great.
Okay, I'm an applesauce person. Anybody just an applesauce person? Okay, I'm a just applesauce person. Which is, like when I eat baked potatoes, I put sour cream on them. The consistency of sour cream and applesauce in the same bite is making me question your life choices. Okay. That's very southern. Yeah, to put Tabasco and one of the other two, like sour cream or applesauce. Okay. I mean, nowadays you can find recipes like not the traditional just potato and onions and oil, right? You can make them with so many different things. I know people who make sweet latkes. They're not just savory. The best latke I ever had in my entire life, it wasn't even Passover. I mean, it wasn't even Hanukkah, it was Passover. When I lived in Israel, I participated in what was called the former Soviet Union Pesach project. So we were sent in small groups to different places in the FSU to lead Passover Seders, mostly for communities who were newly discovering, right, that they had such deep Jewish roots. I did this in 2006, I think it was. The best latke I had was in a restaurant in Ukraine. Hard to find what you want to eat if you're trying to keep Passover when you were 2006 in Ukraine. My latke came in like, anybody remember the Smurfs? In like a container that looked like a Smurf house, like a ceramic Smurf house container with the latke in it, and it was so good. It had like beets on it, of course, you're in Ukraine, right? And like different stuff. It was the best latke I've ever had in my life. If my parents are watching, I should say, I mean, my dad's latkes are the best latkes I've ever had. They are very good, and I think we're making latkes tonight, but we haven't done it yet. Although I was hoping that we'd get out our electric skillet and fry them in the carport so the house didn't smell. But now I don't know with the weather. But I'm still questioning your life choices, those of you who are mixing applesauce and sour cream, but to each their own. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Hanukkah and enjoying, if you get some time off this time of year, enjoying your time to relax. If you're a parent and you get less time off because your kids aren't in school, I hope you're having fun figuring out fun things to do as a family. Everything you need for services this morning, as you know, will be on the screen, but I invite you, if you'd like to use a prayer book, to grab those from the shelf underneath the seat in which you are sitting, and we are going to open those up to page 192. We join together. Ma tovu, o halecha al Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, o halecha al Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ve'ani berov chastecha, avo beitecha, eshtacha ve'elhecha kodshecha, be'yiratecha. Ma tovu, o halecha al Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, umkon mishkan kivodecha, Mishkan kivodecha, ve'ani eshtachave, ve'echra, efrecha lifnei Adonai, osi, ma tovu, ma tovu. O halecha al Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, ve'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chastecha, Elohim berov chastecha, aneni be'emet yishecha, ma tovu, ma tovu. O halecha al Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. We continue reading together page 195 as we thank God for our bodies. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei kol basar umafli la'asot. Page 196. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi, tehorahi. We continue together in the English. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks to you, Adonai, my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher b'yado nefesh kol chai, veruach kol basar ish. As we turn to our blessings for daily miracles, I'm going to invite Milo to come up to lead us. In a few short weeks, Milo will become bar mitzvah, so he will be helping us with two prayers this morning. We are on page 198, and we join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sakvi v'nai lehavdil ben yom u'ben laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'enai, u'shnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat korin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. You want to sit or stay? Okay, I'll call you back up.
Page 206, we continue reading together. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Page 212. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu. Baruch ozer umkayem, Baruch merachem al haaretz. Baruch chai la'ad v'kayam la'netzach. Let us continue in the English at the bottom of the page, a few lines up from the bottom. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mechulal, batish bachot. Page 214, we sing this psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, ale asor ve'ale navel, ale higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai befo alecha, b'maaseh yadecha aranin. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai, me'od amku makshavotecha. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. I invite you to join me where you see the Hebrew indented. Tzaddik tamar yifrach, ke'erez bavanon yiskei, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun beseva, deshenim verananim
Yehiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai suri velo avlatabo.
And invite Milo to come back up to lead us in Ashrei.
Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Od Lahalalul Lachsela. Ashrei Ha'am Shekachalo, Ashrei Ha'am Sh'Adonai Elohav. Tehillah David, Arumimcha Elohei HaMalech, Vayavarcha Shimcha Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'kol Yom Avarchecha, Va'alal Shimcha Le'olam Va'ed. Gadol Adonai Umhula Meod, V'yilig Dilatonin Heker. Dor Lador Yeshabach Masecha, Ugvurotecha Yagidu. Hadar Kivod Hodecha, V'divrei Flotecha Asiyach. Ve'ezuz Norotecha Yomeru, Ugdulatecha Asaprena. Secher Raptuvcha Yabiyu, V'tikatecha Yiranenu. Chanun V'rachum Adonai, Erech Alpaim Udod Chased. Tov Adonai Lekol, V'rachamav Al Kol Ma'asav. Yoducha Adonai Kol Ma'osecha, V'chasidecha Yevarchucha. Kevod Malchutecha Yomeru, Uveratecha Yedaberu. Lehodia Livnei Hadam V'rotav, Ukvod Hadar Malchuto. Malchutecha Malchut Kol Amim, Umemsheltecha V'chol Dor Vador. So Me'ech Adonai Lekol Hanoflim, V'zokef Lekol Hakafufim. Ene Kol Elecha Yesaberu, V'ata Noten Lahem Et Ocholam B'ito. Poteach Et Yadecha, Umasbia Lekol Chayratzon. Sadik Adonai B'chol Derachav, V'hesed B'chol Ma'asav. Karov Adonai Lekol Korav, Lekol Asher Yekreu Ve'emet. Ritzon Yirei Yaseh, Ve'et Shavatam Yishma V'oshiem. Shomer Adonai Et Kol Ohavav, Ve'et Kol Harashim Yashmid. Tehillah Adonai Yedaber Piv, Vivar Et Kol Vasar Shem Kodsho Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'anachnu Nevarech Ya, Me'atave Ad Olam, Hallelujah. Beautifully done. Let's send Milo some warmth. That was beautifully done. As he heads back to his seat, bar mitzvah is 3 weeks? 3 weeks away. He's ready today. If it was the right Torah portion, we'd just pull him up. But come in 3 weeks, support Milo, and see hear some beautiful Torah chanting. Not to make your shoulders feel heavy, but he is doing a beautiful, beautiful job. Let us continue, page 218. Hallelujah, 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 El Bikocho, hallelujah, Bikia Uzo, hallelujah, Big Vurotav, hallelujah, Kerov, Gudlo, hallelujah, 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 Beteka Shofar, hallelujah, Benevel Vechinor, hallelujah, Betofu Macho, hallelujah, Beminim Ve'ugav, hallelujah, 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 B'tziot Salei Shama, hallelujah, B'tziot Salei Trua, Kohan Shema Tehalelia, hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 219. Nishmat Kochai, Tivarech et Shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Veruach kol basar tifa'er utromem zichracha malkeinu tamid. Min haolam ve'ad haolam ata el. Ein lanu melech ele ata. Together in the English. Let the soul of everything alive bless your name, Adonai our God, and the spirit of all flesh glorify and exalt your name forever, O sovereign. Who is praised in a multitude of praises, who guides the world with abundant loving kindness, and all creatures with mercy. God awakens the sleeping, arouses those who slumber, gives speech to the mute. And strengthens those who are bent over. Do we acknowledge? Page 222. Ha'el b'ta'atzumot uzecha, hagadol b'kavod shamecha, hagibor lanetzach, v'hanora b'noratecha, hamelech hayoshev, al kiseh ram v'nisa, shochen ad marom. V'chatuv ranenu sadikim badonai, la yesharim nava tehila, befi yesharim tithalal, uvdivrei sadikim titbarach, uvilshon chasidim titromam, uvkerev kedoshim titkadash, uvmachalot rivot amcha beit yis. Berina yitpa'ar shimcha malkeinu b'kol dor vador, yishtabach shimcha le'ad. Ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol v'ha'kadosh v'shamayim uva'aretz, ki lecha na'eh Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, shir u'shvecha Hallel vezimra, ozumem shela, netzach gedula, ugevura, tehila v'tiferet, kedusha u'malchut, brachot v'hodaot. Baruch atah Adonai, el melech gadol batishbachot, El hahodaot, Adon haniflaot, Abocher b'shirei zimra, Melech elchei ha'olamim. Page 224. Yitzgadal v'kadash shemei rabba, Ve'alma divrach yotev yamlich malchutei, V'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv, ve'imeru. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, le'olam olam me'omaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru. As we turn the page and find our official call to worship, I invite you to please rise. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai.
be seated. We read together page 228. Praised are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. We continue together, page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light-blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. As we turn the page and find the words of Shema, I invite you to rise if it is your custom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue chanting together, beginning on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol lavavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvleftecha v'derech, u'shokbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzo beitecha, Uvisharecha. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdehem ledorotam ve'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf batil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit uritem oto uschartem ekol mitzvot Adonai va'asitem otam ve'lo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher otam zonim acharechem leman tizkeru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kidoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. We read responsively page 239. The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. You shall not hate your brother or sister in your heart. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asked God. Praise to God Most High. We sing together page 240. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot o seifele, nora tehilot o seifele, shira chadesha, shibchu geulim l'shimcha, al safat hayam, Yachad kulam, hodu vehimlichu, ve'ameru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. Sur Yisrael, kuma be'ezra Yisrael, uftechenu mecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael, go aleinu, Adonai Sevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 242 and following, we enter our Amidah, and I invite you to please rise. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihan, Le'ma'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Mayin, Baruch atah Adonai, Mayin Abraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mashif HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memid, Umechayev V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yarmish le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. I invite you to continue now with your own prayers, either using the words in the prayer book. Make note that there is a special insertion in our Amidah for Hanukkah, which can be found on page 556, All Hanisim, reminding us of the miracles. I invite you to use those words in your prayer book or the words you have in your own hearts this morning, and you may be seated whenever you wish. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha, barcheinu yotzreinu kulanu ke'echad, be'or panecha, ki be'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha, Torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed, usedaka uvracha ve'rachamim ve'chaim ve'shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha, ve'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, be'kol eitu ve'kol sha'a bishlomecha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha, baruch ata Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. At this moment in our service, we turn to Torah. Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the reading for Torah on Shabbat, can be found in our prayer books on page 362. Purdue family, will you help me this morning? So I'm going to invite up Hannah and Leah and Michael to open our ark and to carry the Torah. We are on page 362, and as they make their way up here and open the ark, I invite you to please rise. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut ka'olamim, u'memsheltecha b'kol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai himloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiva v'ertzonecha et Zion, tivne chomot Yerushalayim, kivecha lavad batachnu, melech Elron v'nisa, Adon olamim. Ki metzion tetzei Torah, ki metzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai mi Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael, v'ikdushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav, lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagedula. You may be seated. You do know that not in every Jewish community can the rabbis stop singing and just hope that the Jewish music jukebox keeps going. But in this community, I know whether it is during the Hakafah or at another moment, if I need to take a little break, that this group will keep going. And it was a very in unison Jewish jukebox this morning. It's like you all looked at each other, knew exactly which one to start with and when to start that Al Shlosha. So give yourselves a Shabbat pat on the back for that one. We are continuing the story of Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, although he no longer has that coat and he has been imprisoned and is a great dream interpreter now. We are in Parashat Miketz. I am going to be chanting this morning the first 7 verses, which is the description of Pharaoh's dreams, which we know right after the section I am chanting will be what gets Joseph to become second in command of all the land, because God is able to help Joseph interpret these dreams. It is Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 through 7. And I think it is on page 250 if you'd like to follow along in your Torah commentaries. What? Absolutely. I just still don't think I said it that much. I haven't listened back to it. As I'm looking for my spot in Torah to fill the rest of the room in, I was on Talk Louisiana a few weeks ago, and Henry shared with me that every time I was asked a question before I gave my answer, I was like, absolutely. So if you listen to it and you also agree with Henry, then let me know that I absolutely said absolutely a lot of times. I don't recall doing that. But if I did do it, I would say that's a better thing to be pointed out to me than if someone was like, well, you really misspoke about blah, 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 right? So I'm not worried. Page 250, has everybody found their spot? I was waiting for Henry to say absolutely. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Okay. I invite you, before I chant these first 7 verses, if you're comfortable doing so, joining with me in the blessing before chanting Torah. Baruch hu etz Adonai hamvarach, Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. I think I'm okay, but I appreciate that. Just got to get the blue ribbon in place. Vayehi miketz shnatayim yamim ufaro cholem vehine omed al hayeor vehine min hayeor olot sheva parot yefot mar'eh uvirot basar vatir ena ba'achu vehine sheva parot acherot olot acherehen min hayaor ra'ot mer'eh v'dakot basar vata'a modna etzel haparot al safat hayaor vato chalna haparot ra'ot hamar'eh
ודקות הבשר, 7 הפרות, יפות המראה והביראות, ויקץ פרעה, וישן, ויחלום שנית, והנה 7 שיבולים עולות בקנה אחד, בירות וטובות. והנה 7 שיבולים דקות ושטופות קדים, צומחות אחריהן. ותבלענה השיבולים הדקות, 7 השיבולים הבריות והמלאות. ויקץ פרעה והנה חולם. I invite you to join with me in the blessing after. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. A lot of pretty cows and ugly cows and eating each other. And anybody dreamed this dream yet in their life? No? Me neither. Anybody had a dream before where you have numbers reoccurring? Like we just heard? 77777 in this one. Numbers reoccurring. Like I shared in Torah study, I'll say that I don't tend to remember such great detail in my own dreams. Maybe that's because, I don't know, fill in the blank. Let's call Freud, right? I don't know why, but I tend to not remember such great detail. Eliana, on the other hand, I think she makes it up, but will come into our room, especially during break time, because she'll just come into bed with us and snuggle, and then she'll go on this long, detailed description, like as if it was a story she read in a book about her dream. Since she's only 8, I haven't asked her yet how much of it she makes up. But I don't remember them in detail. She tends to. Maybe you remember them more as a kid than you do as a grown-up. I don't know. Interesting thought. I am not a dream interpreter, nor am I one who knows much about dreams. I also know, unfortunately, I don't get much REM sleep in my sleep, according to my Fitbit. So I think that's what you need also. So if you are not a good sleeper either, you might not remember your dreams. But Pharaoh definitely remembers them, and it helps Joseph get out of jail, get his beard cut, his face look different, his clothes fancier, and he is able to very quickly, I will say, heal from what could have been a very traumatic experience, being sold into slavery and then being thrown into jail, and then very quickly, poof, he is healed. I'll say, as we turn now to our prayers for healing, that's not what I believe we're doing when we are reciting our Mishaberach prayer of healing. I don't think, poof, I say this prayer and the person I'm thinking about is going to magically somehow be healed. But I do believe that if I focus on this prayer of healing, that I am able to maybe change the way I react to the situation of the person who needs healing. So let us turn now to those prayers of healing. The names you see on the screen are names of people in our community, or friends of people, family of people in our community in need of healing. I invite you, though, if you'd like to hear one of these names said aloud, to say it aloud, or if you're thinking of another this morning, to say that name aloud, if you would like to.
For the names we read on the screen, those we heard aloud, and those whom we hold in our hearts, let us turn together to our Misha Barak prayer of healing, which can be found either on the inside back cover of your Torah commentary, on page 371 in your prayer book, or on the screen. Misha Barak Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Barak Imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. In a moment, we will turn together to our Haftarah. This morning for Haftarah, we will be going around the room for those who wish to participate, reading a verse or two or three in English. You will very quickly, most likely, know the story as soon as we start reading it. Because even if you haven't read the version that is our Haftarah this morning, it is a story that is very well known to so many. So we are going to be doing the Haftarah for Parashat Miketz. Yes, there is a Haftarah for the Shabbat of Hanukkah, which you are welcome to read later on if you'd like to do it this afternoon on your own time. But this morning we are going to do the Parashat Miketz Haftarah, which is from 1 Kings. And I'm sure, you will know it as soon as we start reading it. You can find it in the Torah commentary. It will not be on the screen. Find it in the Torah commentary on page 271. I'm going to join you there also on page 271. Should I change it up this morning and have this side of the room go first? Steve, will you be our, am I on the right page? Yep, our first reader. So what will happen, we'll join together in the blessing that we do before reading Haftarah. Then Steve will begin reading a few verses. It's not that long of a Haftarah, so I'm hoping that everybody has a chance to read a little bit of it. If you don't want to read past, I'm not going to call out names, so look to the person that's next to you or behind you, or we'll come back up forward this way, so tap the person in front of you. And again, if you'd like to not read, please feel free to say pass as well. So let's first join together in our blessing, and I invite you to join me if you are comfortable doing so. You want to lead them? I didn't ask you earlier. Come join me. I'm going to put you on the spot. Milo and I had talked about morning blessings in Ashrei, but not this. But we'll all do it together. We'll support Milo, right, to prepare him for bar mitzvah when he leads it. Ready? Can you see this here? Okay, ready? Let's do it together. You want to start it?
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch Atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. That was beautiful. You can sing that now.
Then Solomon awoke. It was a dream. He went to Jerusalem.
one more sentence. Someone take us home.
King Solomon was now king over all.
Okay, so was it a story you knew, whether it was this exact version or another version? You never knew it was a dream, right? So it does say, I'm not sure, I'll have to tell you, if this first verse that says, then Solomon awoke, it was a dream, has anything to do with the story of cutting the baby in half. I think the story of cutting the baby in the half is two women are actually there. But you are correct that it does start with a dream. But why do we need those verses? Why did it start with that and not just start with later two prostitutes came to the king and stood before him? Because we needed to fit with the Torah portion somehow, right? That's what I think, right? We don't need those first few verses of chapter 3. And we already aren't starting at the beginning. This is verse 15, right? We're starting at verse 15. But the way that when the rabbis laid out which haftarah was done with which Torah portion, some of them have nothing to do with the others. Some of them have some connections. Does this help us connect more? It does. What would be the other connections if those first few verses weren't there? They're a lot harder to figure out, right? Possibly because King Solomon is making decisions, right, for people. So people coming to King Solomon in order to make a decision, like people coming to Joseph in order for him to make a decision when there's famine and they saved the food. Who knows? But I think Steve is correct. And the reason we start with verse 15 is to make a deeper connection. And I don't think the cut the baby in half, don't cut the baby in half story is a dream. I think that's reality. But I think that it does make it feel that way because it starts with, and he awoke and there was a dream. But then it goes on to say that like he made his sacrifices, he had a party, right? And then this moment happened. Okay, and it also says Solomon's waking from a dream was undoubtedly chosen as the prologue here because the Hebrew verb used to open this passage, vayikat, is the same one used to describe Pharaoh's waking from a dream at the onset of Miketz. So the connection is just to say, don't forget about your Torah portion, but yes. So all of you had heard this story before, right? Okay, let's cut this baby in half, and of course the person who's like, I'd rather the kid live than the kid be mine, is the person who is the mother of the kid. Thank goodness this hopefully never happens in real life. I feel like if you've heard this story in a similar way, my understanding is that when they retell it, sometimes to children, it's not a baby, but it's like a frog, right? Like there are different stories that exist to tell the exact same thing. And what's the moral of it? That if you love something, you'd rather let it go than destroy it in order for you to have it, which is an important lesson for all of us. Again, hopefully you never have to experience it with people, but what's the phrase? Like, if you're about to buy yourself something, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to walk away, and if it's still there when you come back or whatever, then you get it. Little bit different than the images we see on the news after like Black Friday when people trample each other for the newest thing. But I still have an iPhone 11 Pro. What number are we at now? Much higher than 11. What is it, Milo? We're at 16 now, so I obviously am not one to rush out to get the new thing. Some people drive their cars into the ground. I am using my phone into the ground, which is gonna come very soon because Apple is very smart and they do these lovely updates and then your phone doesn't work as well. So it will have to happen soon. But if it's an 11 and we're at 16, it's been many years that my investment in that phone is gonna pay off. And leave it to the almost bar mitzvah, although you probably knew also, your bar mitzvah's in August, right? To tell me which number of cell phone we're at. Let us join together in our blessing. You wanna come back up here with me? After We do Haftarah, which you can find in your prayer books on page 372. You can also find it on the screen.
Baruch atah.
No, Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Sor kol haolamim, Sadiq b'kol hadorot, Ha'el haneman, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Hamdaber umkayem, Shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim lach Umvarchim otach Yitbarashimcha b'fi kol chai Tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Do you want some candy before you sit back down? And Milo, thank you. I appreciate that I was like, lead us, monkey, lead us this morning, because we had not talked about that. And Milo, the day of your bar mitzvah, right? The way Milo has practiced that after blessing, there's a flow. He does the before blessing. He chants his haftarah in Hebrew, and then he goes into the after blessing, which is not the way he did it this morning. So sometimes when we've been practicing a flow of things, that beginning's hard to get. But beautifully, beautifully done. Again, in 3 weeks, come support Milo and enjoy a weekend full of musical services, as well as the Roths will be with us. Before we return our Torah to the Ark, let us offer prayers for our congregation, our country, and the state of Israel. These can be found on the screen or in our prayer books on page 376. I invite you to join with me. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us with satisfaction, may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment of joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levarecha b'yirah na'avod. Nearing the bottom of this page, we together offer a prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. On the facing page, we together offer this prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sor Yisrael v'goalo, Barich et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha be'evrat chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orecha va'amitecha l'rashecha, Sarecha v'yoadsecha, V'taknen be'etza tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, V'simchat olam yoshvecha, V'nomar. Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We now prepare to return our Torah to the Ark. I'm going to invite Hannah and Leah and Michael to come back up to help. We will be on pages 374 and 375. And as they come up here and open the Ark, I invite you to please rise.
Kila lecho chasida lifnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us read together in the middle of 375. God's Torah is perfect, reviving the soul. God's teaching is sure, making wise the simple. God's precepts are right, delighting the mind. God's mitzvot are clear, giving light to the eyes. God's word is pure, enduring forever. God's judgments are true and altogether just. Eitz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomchecha meushar teracheha tarchei noam v'kol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem. We remain standing with our ark open, and we turn to our concluding prayers. Words of Aleinu can be found beginning on page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, La take gedulaliot ser breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, vigoralenu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech mochei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Shehu Notei Shamayim Ve'yoser Haaretz U'Moshe Yikaro B'Shamayim B'Ma'al U'Shkinatu Zo Begovhei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ein Od Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato Katuv b'Torato v'yadata hayom v'hashavota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'shamayim mima'al ve'al ha'aretz mitachad ein od. We read together page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yehia Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Can you please close the ark? Michael, you as well. You may be seated. As our prayers draw to a close this Shabbat morning, we turn our thoughts to our loved ones who are no more. This morning, as a community, we remember those who passed away during the past year. Rowan Hausman, Maureen Corcoran, Lucy Silva, Larry Zachem, Richard Marcus, Eddie Goldman, Eleanor McKee, Faye Roos, Joseph Schieber, Elaine Kaplan, James Coker, Harry Saxey, Chuck Schwing, Carol Kane, Arlette Goldstein, Mordecai Rosenstein, Terry Stern, Jack Kahn,
Leslie Marcus, Nancy Moore, George Walker, Mark Cohen, Carol Levy, Joel Safer, Patricia Pizer, Benjamin Aronson, and John Dupaquier. To their names, we add the names of those whose Yortzeit anniversary of death is observed this Shabbat. Gordon Becknell, Anne Brownleader, Robert Cole, Polly Flicker, Pearlie Folks, Nina Ginsburg, Stanley Green, Roy Humph, Gabriel Hausman Jr., Thelma Hyman, George Hinson, Elliot Hyman, Byron Cantro Sr., Florence Bombette Cantro, Teon Hausman Klein, Ann Lambert, Morris Levy, Sarah Tater Mass, Paul Marks Jr., Annie Warren Mills, Jesse Nathanson, Abe Orlansky, Serena Piha Paul, Marvin Pizer, A.M. Posner, Miriam Hirsch Posner, Joseph Tavi Pushker, Julius Raffi, Ulrich Rosen, Victor A. Saxey II, Ira Sandy Sager, Myra Lois Mirsky Sobolov, and Morris Watsky. To their names, we add the names of those IDF soldiers who lost their lives in the past few days defending the state of Israel. Amit Levy, Chod Schreibman, Netanyahu Pesach, Ile Gavriel Etadji, Hillel Diener. If there are others you are remembering this morning, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so.
Saul Zaglin, Michael Lewis.
For those names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, we turn together to these words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 598, and I invite you to rise if it is your custom. Yit gadol v'yit kadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach hirote v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach leolam ulamei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all their memories be for a blessing, as together we say, amen. You may be seated as I invite Steve to share some brief announcements. You should add the ones you added,
Okay.
if you, yeah.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Hag Sameach. Happy Hanukkah. Welcome to all of you who are here and all of you who are watching on the streaming. Tonight there will be a Havdalah service on Zoom hosted by the Saxey family at 6 p.m. The link for that is on the website. The UJCBR offices are closed until January 1st. If you do have an emergency of any type, please reach out to the rabbi. Please remember that on January 26th at 2 p.m. is the annual meeting. And also on the weekend of January 10th, 11th, and 12th, we will be hosting some focus groups for our strategic planning process, which is ongoing. And you received an email with a link to register for one of the focus groups on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So please do that. It's very important that we get everyone's input into this process. For more information on these events and everything else, you can look on the website, www.ujcbr.org. You can look at the weekly announcements, or you can look at the monthly bulletin. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's gotten so easy for you to lead our Shabbat morning announcements that I think after January 26th, I might still have to call on you. Is that allowed? I don't know. Representing yourself after January 26th? I thought for our closing song this morning, we would turn to a new page, page 669, and celebrate a little bit of Hanukkah. So we'll sing it through in Hebrew and then in English, and hopefully a few of you know Ma'ot Tzur and will join with me. So let us close with a little singing. Ma'ot Tzur Yeshuati Lecha Na'el Lishabeach Tikon Beit Tefilati V'sham Toda Nizabeach Le'et Tachin Matbeach Mitzar Haminabeach Azegmor Beshir Mizmor Hanukat HaMizbeach Azegmor Beshir Mizmor Hanukat HaMizbeach. Rock of Ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. What better time of year to do a song that we probably don't sing that often than Hanukkah, which is when this song is supposed to be sung. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah.